Last week, I said something that's worth coming back to. I said we're having to make some difficult decisions about what we build, what we keep, and what we don't. We're being driven by one very specific question. Who is Skratchr actually for? And today, we're going to answer that question. You see, the more conversations I've had recently with golfers, with creators, and with clubs, the clearer this has become. If you don't get this right early, everything else gets messy. Features creep in, roadmaps get bloated, and you end up building something that does a bit for everything for nobody in particular. So this episode isn't a pitch, it's not a launch moment, it's just clarity. So here is exactly who Skratchr is for and why we're now driving the decisions that we're making. So let me zoom out for a second and give you a sense of the numbers across the UK and Ireland. You see, here in the UK and Ireland, there's about 75 million people. Now, of those, about 22 million people have touched a golf club of some description over the last year. Now, that could be in driving ranges, pitch and putt, crazy golf, or just a casual round of golf every so often. But when you narrow that down even further, about 5.5 million of those actually have played on-course golf. And of those 5.5 million, about 1.1 million are golfers who are registered. That means they've registered with their national association, either through golf club or something like iGolf, and they hold an official handicap, which means we've got 4.4 million people who we call casual golfers. They play a few times a year, they might love golf, and they don't have a formal handicap. They're not tied to the traditional system. So when you look at that, the real question becomes, which of those 5.5 million are we actually designing for? And that's where the first and biggest group comes in. This is the group of golfers who just simply want to play more golf and struggle to find the people to play golf with. Not just one round, not just a last minute four ball, but a group, a tribe of people who they can play regularly with, who they can go on trips with. But from the numbers, we can see that about 80% of golfers aren't club members. But here's the interesting part. Being a club member doesn't actually mean you found your tribe either. A lot of golfers and a lot of members still play with the same one or two people. They struggle to expand their circle and they don't actually know who else is available to play either on this course or a nearby one. So Skratchr is for the non-members who feel disconnected and the members who want a wider, more flexible golf circle. That's why community and connection keep winning our internal debates over features, because if we don't solve that properly, everything else is noise. Now, the second group is different, but just as intentional. This is the golfer who loves gamification, badges, achievements, and milestones. Not because they're obsessed with stats, but because they like their progress to be recognized. They love collecting. This isn't about launch monitor numbers, swing planes, or smash factors, or strokes gained dashboards. This is about real golf played in the real world being recorded digitally. Playing great courses, hitting personal milestones, and completing challenges. Building a visible history of your golf life. A lot of apps focus on getting better at golf. Skratchr is focused on making golf more fun to play. That distinction has already driven a lot of decisions about what we're prioritizing and what we don't try to compete with. And then lastly, there's the third group, which is slightly different again, and I want to be really transparent about this one. These are golf clubs and venues who want to connect with golfers beyond their traditional membership and creators who want to create a deeper engagement with their followers. This is partially a distribution strategy for us, but it's also a legitimate user group. Creators don't need another platform to shout on. They need a way to bring people together, to organize play, to run challenges and turn followers into communities. And clubs are similar. They don't just want members, they want relevance in their wider areas, bringing people to events, having visitors, having social golf, non-traditional use of their space. It's ultimately about generating more revenue for the club so they can reinvest it back into their area, into their club again. These groups aren't a product. They're the connectors, and designing for connectors forces us to think about scale, usability, and simplicity much earlier than we otherwise would. Now, clarity also means being honest about who this probably isn't for, and that's okay. First of all, there's the older golfers. Now, we will absolutely have golfers over 55 using Skratchr, especially those who are more tech comfortable and those who fit into the above categories that we previously discussed. That's not exclusion, that's just adoption reality. To be clear, everybody is welcome, but you have to remember not everybody uses things the same way. Now, if the over 55s want to prove me wrong and mass adopt the platform in droves, then we will 100% look at pivoting. But the data suggests they're not going to be the most active users for the moment, so that means they're not going to be the focused. And the second category that we're not focusing on at the moment is the elite or highly competitive golfers. If your main motivation is shaving fractions of a shot, deep performance analytics, and optimization of your swing speed and smash factor and all those other things, there are already some brilliant apps out there that do that. We're not avoiding analytics because they don't matter. We're just not starting there because it's crowded, it's expensive, and we don't have the right to win that space yet. Now, we do have course data, GPS positions, etc., etc., etc. So longer term, this absolutely becomes possible. But today, it's just not a smart decision to go into there, and being honest about that has made everything else much clearer. So when I said last week that we're having to make difficult decisions, this is what has been driving them. Not trends, not hype, not what other apps are doing, but a clear picture of who we're building for, how they actually use golf technology, and what makes the game better for them. Knowing who this is not for has actually made building this feel lighter, more focused, and more honest. And if you see yourself in one of the categories that I discussed earlier, put it in the comments and let me know which one that you fall into. And let me know what's important to you, because as I said, we're still in this phase of development where we can add things into this product, we can take stuff away. So me understanding what is important to you is absolutely crucial. Get engaged in the comments, let me know what it is, and I'll see you next week.